There are some people who just naturally seem to smile a lot. They quickly become close with new people, naturally express affection, and radiate bright energy. When I see such people, I can't help but think to myself, I wonder what kind of environment they grew up in to be able to smile so genuinely. And behind that thought, there's always a quiet question that follows. Why can't I be more like that? When I see people who express their feelings naturally, I often find myself feeling a little intimidated. It can feel as if I've never possessed what they seem to have so effortlessly from the very beginning. Things like smiling warmly, taking the first step to connect, or naturally saying, I love you. Why do these actions feel so awkward and unfamiliar to me? Perhaps we already have some understanding of the origins of this awkwardness. Some people grew up in homes that were always quiet during childhood. Homes where sighs were more familiar than laughter, where criticism was heard more often than praise, and where turning away was more common than a comforting embrace. The child who grew up in that environment learned to sense others' moods before truly understanding love. Before expressing their feelings, they learned how to conceal them. And now, that child has grown into an adult, standing in this very place today. Sometimes expressing my feelings can feel a little uncomfortable. When someone is kind to me, I might feel uneasy rather than simply happy. I often find myself wondering, why are they being so nice? Are they expecting something in return? It can be hard for me to just accept positive feelings, and I tend to become suspicious. This discomfort I feel when receiving love often comes from not being accustomed to being loved. Sometimes, as we grow closer to others, we might find ourselves pushing them away first. As a relationship deepens, the fear of eventually getting hurt can grow significantly. So before the other person leaves, we create distance first. This is because from an early age, we've learned through experience that it hurts less to leave before being abandoned. This isn't about being a cold person, it's because we've been hurt too many times. I often find myself wondering if I truly deserve to be loved. Even when someone expresses affection, I feel a constant need to check and recheck if their feelings are genuine. Thoughts like, if only I were a little more attractive, more capable, or had a brighter personality often come to mind. This effort to feel worthy of love seems never-ending. I believe this feeling of needing to demonstrate your own worthiness for love often stems from a lack of experiences where you felt loved simply for being yourself. When we talk about this, a common saying often comes up. It's the idea that someone who has never received love might not know how to truly give it. This is also a deep concern for those who experienced challenges in their childhood. They might wonder, if I fall in love, will I truly be able to love well? What if I inadvertently hurt someone I care about? There are far more people carrying these worries than you might imagine.
Let's take a moment to gently consider this. Is that idea truly accurate? Does someone who hasn't experienced receiving love truly lack the ability to offer it to others? And for those who feel incomplete, does it mean they can't genuinely love others? This perspective is only partially accurate. The other part, however, can feel like a deeply challenging assumption for those who have navigated personal struggles and feelings of deficiency.
Perhaps if we struggle with love, it's not due to a lack of ability. Instead, it might be because the emotional walls we've built to protect ourselves have become too high over time. When someone didn't experience enough love in their early years, it's not that they don't know how to love. It's more that they've learned to be extremely careful to avoid getting hurt in the process of giving and receiving affection. Being cautious and truly being unable to connect are entirely different things. In psychology, this is often explained through the concept of attachment styles.
It suggests that if someone didn't experience consistent, stable love during childhood, they might develop an anxious or avoidant attachment style. Those with an anxious style can feel uneasy even when receiving affection, while those with an avoidant style tend to keep a certain distance when love gets close. Both styles genuinely desire connection, but the way they express or handle it can sometimes feel a bit difficult. The underlying desire for connection is certainly there. It's simply a process of learning new ways to navigate those feelings. There's an important fact to consider here. Attachment styles can change. They're not a fixed destiny determined at birth. While childhood experiences do influence us, they don't have to define our ultimate outcome. Our brains can evolve throughout our lives, and as we gain new experiences through relationships, the way we love can gradually transform. And there's one more thing. People who have experienced challenges often develop a special awareness. Because they've personally faced difficulties, they tend to be more sensitive to the struggles of others. They often notice when someone is having a hard time, even without words being spoken. The experiences of being hurt can actually create a deeper capacity for empathy. When you observe people who grew up feeling loved, they often smile naturally and show affection. They approach even strangers without hesitation. Seeing this, some might wonder, why can't I be like that, and feel a bit disappointed in themselves? However, that outward cheerfulness and charm aren't the only ways to express or give love. Love comes in many different forms. It has various ways of expression. It is also love to silently be by someone's side when they are struggling. It is also love to simply be with them without asking anything. Even if you cannot express it grandly, it is love to carefully avoid passing on your experienced pain to others. Sometimes we may not fully realize how profound such a quiet, thoughtful consideration truly is. The way someone expresses love can differ depending on whether they grew up feeling cherished or experiencing a sense of lack. If the love of a person raised with abundant affection feels like a natural, ingrained part of them, then the love of someone who has overcome scarcity is a fiercely chosen effort in every moment. While we can't say which is inherently more valuable, one truth stands clear. The love we cultivate through conscious effort holds a truly profound weight. Even those who grew up loved don't always find themselves in healthy relationships. Someone bright and charming doesn't necessarily offer a consistently good love. The brightness we see on the surface and inner well-being are often different stories. We often find ourselves comparing someone else's outward appearance with our own inner world. However, that comparison is inherently unfair from the very beginning. People who have experienced a sense of lack often live with a particular fear. They might wonder, could I become like my parents? Or am I unknowingly causing pain to others? But having that very fear can actually be a strong sign that you are already different. Someone who is afraid of causing harm is often someone who is actively trying not to. Those who might cause harm without realizing it typically don't carry that kind of concern. It can certainly feel painful if you didn't receive enough love in childhood. It's natural for that void to continue to be felt, even into adulthood. However, that past experience of lack doesn't entirely define who you are now. While we couldn't choose our childhood environment, we can choose how we live in this present moment. A difficult starting point doesn't predetermine your entire destination. It's often observed that individuals who experienced scarcity in their upbringing later become remarkably compassionate. Knowing the true value of what they themselves didn't receive, they tend to offer even greater care. In fact, there are things they can give exceptionally well, precisely because they never had the opportunity to receive them. This beautiful paradox is truly profound. We can certainly learn how to love. It's a journey, and no one understands love perfectly right from the beginning. Even those who grew up feeling loved often navigate relationships, making countless mistakes, and experiencing both giving and receiving hurt, gradually learning and growing. Love isn't an innate talent we're born with. Instead, it's a beautiful process we build and cultivate over time, and it's never too late to begin this journey of learning.
It's perfectly fine if you feel a little clumsy, and it's okay if things feel a bit awkward. Even when it's hard to say "I love you" out loud, there are always ways to show your affection through your actions. And even if your expressions aren't elaborate, simply being consistently there for someone can be deeply meaningful. Loving in a way that feels true to you, that truly is enough. Are you perhaps worrying about someone now? Is there someone on your mind, wondering if they're having a hard time? That feeling is already love. Love isn't found in grand expressions or in perfectly executed actions. The very essence of love is the feeling of worrying about someone and truly caring. You are already experiencing love. A love that may feel clumsy isn't necessarily lacking. Instead, a love offered with care because it understands past hurts holds far more depth than one given thoughtlessly. Your love might not be outwardly grand or flashy, but within that love, there's a profound weight earned from enduring countless nights. Only those who understand that weight can truly recognize its authentic value. Perhaps take a moment to gently consider the feeling of worrying if you can truly give love. Someone who might not be ready to give love doesn't usually experience this kind of concern. They often don't feel afraid of causing hurt. The presence of this very concern can actually suggest that you are already prepared to offer your love. Please remember just one thing. The feelings of lack you experienced were not your fault. You didn't choose the environment you grew up in as a child. Not fully learning how to be loved was also not your responsibility. At that time, you were simply a child. Despite those circumstances, I have managed to come this far. I've carried difficult emotions and endured awkward relationships, and now I am here. That alone is already a remarkable achievement. Many may not fully realize the profound significance of that journey. However, those who have walked a similar path truly understand its difficulty. It's okay if you don't smile as easily as those who grew up feeling loved. You don't have to be good at expressing affection. You have your own way of loving and your own kind of depth, and there will be someone who truly sees that depth in you. You don't have to be loved by everyone. One person who understands and appreciates you for who you are is enough. If you are watching this video today, you might have been living with a particular question for a long time. You may have wondered, am I someone who can truly give love? Perhaps you've also thought, could I inadvertently cause pain to others? Or might the things I haven't received somehow become a source of hurt for someone else? Just by holding on to these kinds of questions, you are already unique and deeply thoughtful. The things you didn't receive in childhood don't define who you are today. That empty space may still bring you pain, however, it doesn't encompass your entire being. Even with those experiences of lacking, you've developed your own unique ways. You care for others. You cherish them. You also act thoughtfully. That truly is your unique form of love. To the question, can I truly give love having never received it myself? I now wish to answer gently. Yes, you can give love. In fact, you are already doing so. Though your expressions may be clumsy and cautious, the weight of sincerity within them is heavier than anyone else's. You are worthy of receiving love, and you are capable of giving it. Just as you are right now is perfectly enough.